prize winners, one from each section. But before that, we have a very special prize to give. 34 years ago, the Legion established its first international boarding academy here in Ireland. And its name was Dublin Oak Academy. Since then, we had Woodlands, Overbrook, Chatelard, Oak Lawn, etc. But Dublin Oak was the first. And believe it or not, we have a member of staff, a teacher, who was there at the very beginning. And now in a minute, we are going to say goodbye to him as a member of staff at the Academy after 34 years. So it shows the maturity of the academies now. The first member of staff to see it from the beginning to retirement. And Mr. O'Rourke, as all the generations will know, was ever present, never missed a day, taught many subjects, worked as caretaker, administrator, principal teacher, teacher of many subjects, well loved by all the generations. Of all the teachers, he's the only teacher who the boys never complain about receiving a black mark from. They're always queuing up to my office to complain, this teacher gave me a black mark, that teacher gave me a black mark, but for some reason, they never complain about Mr. O'Rourke's black marks. And that shows his justice and the level of respect that he's held in by every generation. So, without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. O'Rourke to come to the stage and to give us an opportunity to say thank you.
Fathers, ladies and gentlemen, boys, retirement is a fabulous thing. You do nothing and you're responsible to nobody for it. Now that's the joke, of course. We know the reality is different. You're responsible to yourself, but anyway, that's for the moment. I'd like to run through some of the history of Dublin Oak, the part that I was involved in. It may help some people to have a more accurate idea of what happened. So when the first group of Mexican students came to Dublin, the year was 1969, and it was also the year of the first general chapter of the Legion of Christ. They were in the same building at the same time. I remember distinctly of that group, there were two students who made it their business, with so many priests there was a lot of masses going on, they made it their business to make a competition out of who served the most masses. Alvaro Corcuera was one of the two. Moving quickly on, and somewhere in between my disappearing from there and coming back in 1981, between 1974 and 76, the school year was founded. So I added the two together then, the summer camp and the school year. In 1981 I came to Dublin Oak, and my first teaching subjects, to give you an idea of the learnings that I've gone through, because John Race has spoken to you of the experience of a student. I'm now talking to you the experience of a teacher. Okay, my first subjects were maths and physics and English as a foreign language. They disappeared pretty quickly because from 83 to 85 I was then the school administrator, and the next subjects after that from 85 on were history and geography and EFL, from 87 to 94 Spanish, and then from 2003 classical studies and so on. Apart from that, there was extracurricular activities like teaching football, archery, going on the trips with the kids with Mr. Devoya and people who came along around that time as well. So for me, apart from that, I was principal of the school for 15 years. For me, it's been a wonderful learning curve, because when I came here, as the school was in its foundation, every teacher had to be adaptable to learn new subjects because we were a small group of teachers, so everybody had to have 3 or 4 subjects. So I learned a lot from that. But my biggest learning has taken place from the people who were involved in the school. That could be from management, to teachers, to other staff, to the students themselves, where I believe the biggest learning takes place. The teacher tries to teach the student, well, sorry, that's the wrong word. You don't teach the student. You try to get the student to bring out their own qualities as they grow in the year that they're with us. But at the same time, the teacher's learning so much from them, whether the student is aware of that or not. So for me, that was a marvellous learning curve. And I have to thank everybody that I've been involved with along the way, from management to teachers, to deans, co-workers, gardening staff, general handymen, cleaners, Sodexo and so on. They've all been wonderful colleagues, especially over this last week where I've already had 2 presentations, and it seems that I'm going to have a lot of contact with water from now on, kayaking, powerboat sailing or sailing, my choice, and so on. So I really thank everybody for all that experience. And I'd just like to leave you with one thought, which again, like the first one I said, is not really true, but it gives you an idea. A teacher is somebody who teaches a student how to solve problems that they wouldn't have if the teacher wasn't there. So anyway, we know that's not true as well. Teacher helped the student to evolve during the year, and then in that sense is collaborating with the other people who work with them outside of class time, in sports, in outings, and in every other aspect of the formation. Thank you very much.